And walked him up to where I was riding him alone, and he freaked out with the truck. And I'm grazing him here, and all that stuff's behind us because I'm waiting for trucks and stuff to go by. And traffic is going by, and then I'm going to go down by the road and graze him too. So anytime they do something goofy, I don't ignore it. I start working on it. Like, you don't like to be there, you don't like trucks, you don't like cars behind you. Well, let's start setting it up and getting them used to it. So just remember that. Try to work with him again at least 5 to 10 minutes a day on anything he has issues with. Even if you just put the bridle on and off for 10 minutes, or put your hat on his head on and off, give him cookies when he lets you put it on his head, and just desensitizing him. Lots of that with the rope and the whip and random things he doesn't like that you find out in time. DeRusso with the Majestic rider. So this is for Remy's owner, but I might as well tell you guys as well. She doesn't have tons of time to ride, so she doesn't ride during the week usually, just every couple of weekends. So this is what I would do. This horse is calm, but he will fool you, and he'll go from 0 to 100 in seconds if you haven't prepared him right. So the better you prepare him, the better he will react to things and have less of a reaction, less of a temper tantrum if you prepare him well. So if he's not been out, in other words, a week or two has gone by and he's in pasture, but he's still not been out, not been worked or desensitized or anything, this is what I would do. The first thing I would do is run him around in the pasture, in an arena, or a round pen. I would do that for 10 minutes. If he is not calming down at all at the end of the 10 minutes, the way you know they're calmed down, even if they're still a little amped up, is instead of cantering and bucking and running and rearing, they're starting to pace or trot or gait, not canter as much. So keep moving them around, keep changing directions, and do it for 10 minutes. But if you're like, he's still running around bucking crazy, it's better to overdo it and do it for 20 minutes. After that, I would take him and I would lunge him or round pen him for another 10 minutes because he hasn't been worked and all that energy saved up, and you're trying to get rid of all that energy. So then I would round pen him 10 minutes, changing directions every 2 to 3 circles. I would do it not at a walk, but at his gait, his trot, and his canter, okay? And use the word canter when you tell him to canter, because he knows that now, and you want to practice the canter as much as you can because his canter is not very good under saddle, and he wasn't here long enough for me to fix all of that. So have him canter 2 to 3 circles. It's okay if he falls out of it and comes back into a trot or a pace. You just ask him to canter it again. Don't be too aggressive, and get him to canter a couple circles, driving him forward every time he comes down, but not being scary about it. So have him canter 3 circles each direction, and do that at least 2 times. So he ends up cantering twice to the right, but 3 circles, so a total of 6 circles. Okay. Then if he's being good, then you can go back to gaiting or trotting. I would prefer not to pace, so the more you can get him to trot, the better. Use your poles. That will also help his top line, strengthen his core, get him more sure-footed and quick with his feet in case the footing ever gives out or anything. And it'll strengthen his hindquarters as well. So poles are very helpful. So now you've put in 30 minutes of preparing this horse. Then what I want you to do is desensitize him. Do him to the ropes, the flags, any random things you think you're going to see at the campsite. If there's going to be balloons, get some balloons. If there's going to be flags, use bags, anything possible that you think you might see. If you're going to see tents, any spooky with those, use some tarps around them, etc. And do that for 10 to 20 minutes. So that's a lot of preparation, but what we're trying to do is work off his energy, get him thinking, also strengthen him, wear him out a little bit because tired horses are good horses, and then kind of level his mind out by doing the desensitizing, okay, and making him calm. And so the last thing he remembers is things moving around him, and he's supposed to stay still and calm, not run around and be goofy. Then I would brush him and all that stuff, make sure you give him lots of water, and then off you go on your trailer ride. Once you arrive, the first thing I would do is not put him in his paddock, because he might arrive and start screaming to all the other horses. I would walk him around, keeping him out of your space, And then if he's amped up, I would do the sending exercise there or lunging him, depending how much space you have. I would send him around, you know, the other horses as you're walking around, send him around the other campsites as long as everybody's okay with that, and just get him working and thinking again. And then once he comes down, sure, you can walk around, go up to the other horses and all of that. Then wherever you put his pen, or if you're tying him up or whatever, you know he's going to attach on to the other horses. That's okay. So it's fine for him to attach on the other horses and graze and then just be calm, meet that other horse. Now, if you're going to ride that day, if you didn't trailer that far, then I want you to do the sending exercise and a little desensitizing before you get on. And then once you're on, I want you to ride out, if possible, at a flat walk. Not if you're going downhill, of course, but I want you to ride out a flat walk, keeping his head down, keeping him straight, and making him pay attention. Every 5 minutes, and you can put a timer on your phone, I want you to do something. So every 5 minutes, even though you're flat walking, you got his head down, he's paying attention, I want you to leg yield. You know, do it a couple times each direction, and then you can go straight again. Then in 5 more minutes, I want you to serpentine. In 5 more minutes, I want you to stop back up. In 5 more minutes, I want you to make a circle around a tree. So every 5 minutes, and I know most people will make it 10, that's what you do, I want you to give him a job. And what we're trying to do is keep the horse focused on you. Anytime you see something scary coming up, you slide the bit to get the horse's head down and to get his attention, because when they see something scary, just the pressure on the rein, sometimes they won't bring their head down and you need a little bit more pressure. So sliding the bit will usually help. Do not ride them on a loose rein. Okay? Your reins need to be short so your hands are out in front of you, and if you pull back, you're not smacking yourself in the stomach. Okay? So you're giving them jobs to do, you're keeping them focused, and you're flat walking and dispersing energy. Ride in the front, ride in the back. If he's getting too close to the other horse, serpentine like you saw me do in the videos, and leg yield, and just keep doing it till you get him to fall behind. Once he falls behind, then you can let him walk straight. But every time he gets close to that horse, and don't hold him back. If he wants to get close to it, let him find out what happens. Let him get up on that horse's tail, then you serpentine and leg yield until you fall back again. You're going to repeat that over and over every single ride till he figures out it's much better to fall behind the other horses than being close to them. Then, after you've been out there anywhere from 20 minutes to an hour, you know, once he's calm, and that can be different at different places, so that you have to figure out, then you can start not giving him as many jobs. You can start riding him on a looser rein. But anytime you see something coming, even if he acts calm, I want you to shorten up those reins and start giving him jobs to do. Okay? If an object is coming up behind you, like it was coming that way, like a bike or a car or horses or whatever, turn and face them and look at your surroundings and make sure you have area to move. So if you need to side pass him, or if he starts to try to rear up or buck, or just he's going sideways, you can disengage his hindquarters and you know how much room you have. You're not only looking at the space, but you're looking at the footing. So you're trying to make sure, you know, this isn't that black asphalt that's very slippery because they'll fall down on it. This is not, so that would be okay here. But again, the cement's always more slippery. And you're looking for dirt and space and everything that's around you. You're focusing on where are the fences, so where's the tree, so I know what room I have if he starts turning into a spaz. Once you're aware of all those things, everything's less scary because you have a plan, you know what to do, okay? And you know he's going to come back down because you've prepared him well. If you didn't prepare him well, it might not go so well. So you face the object goes by. If he's scared, you follow it. You chase it down the road wherever you're going, and then once it leaves, that's all you can do. Then you put his feet back to work if he's antsy and start giving him jobs, and you keep giving him jobs until he comes back down. That could be 5 minutes or it could be an hour, depending on your horse. Okay? Then when he's being good, that's when you stop and rest, or if you want to get off and graze, that's when you stop and graze. If he's being bad and you want to get off, of course you can get off, but that's when you start doing the sending exercise, disengaging his hindquarters, stopping, backing up, and just give him job after job after job. So he realizes when you get off, it's actually worse, and he should behave, so you don't want to get off. Getting off's not a bad thing. You just have to have a plan. And then you don't want to get back on until he's somewhat calm. If you got to get back on and he's a little goofy, but it's a long way home and you're like, I can't do this, then have someone hold him so he's not moving as you're trying to get on, and then immediately start giving him jobs. Ride him in the front, the back, the middle, okay? Put him in all those different spots. He's going to be better in some of those spots and worse in others. That's just the way it is. And you just got to keep repeating it over and over until he gets better at those things. And that takes years. That's just part of the whole horse process, okay? It doesn't happen overnight. But you want to keep doing that so you ride him in all different positions. And he's got to understand if he's in the front, the back, the middle, it doesn't matter because he's with you, you're his leader, and he's going to be fine. Okay? You don't want him to depend on those other horses, and that's why we don't want them right up their tails unless you're crossing something and you really can't get across something. Then, yes, you can. So that's the plan you want to have. Even when he's good and he's relaxed, you're going to keep everything in the back of your mind what you need to do. The more you practice your maneuvers, the more they will naturally come to you, and you won't even have to think about them. You'll just automatically do them when you're having a problem. And those maneuvers are serpentine, leg yield, disengage in the hindquarters or turn on the forehand, side pass. You should know how to do all those things, and then turn on the haunches also, but not as important as those other ones. And you got to have a good stop and a good backup. Always steer when you go backwards. If the horse is running backwards, always make sure you steer. So practice those things when you're out on the trail and not having problems, and it makes it much easier. As the days go by, you're going to repeat it. You're going to get up in the morning and you're going to start lunging him or doing ascending exercise and see how he reacts. If he's totally calm and you rode hard, he's probably going to be fine. But if you guys got there and you just walked a mile, no. You need to repeat your stuff and exercise him, desensitize him, and then start riding him around before your friends get on, just to make sure he's okay and paying attention to you. Okay, that's the plan I would do. I would do that every time if you're not going to be, riding him during the week. Because horses that sit, even if they're in pasture, they just stand there and they save up their energy and they explode when they're underneath you because they have so much energy. So you're trying to disperse the energy, prepare them for the job, and then help yourself be safe. Okay? So hopefully that makes sense. If you have any questions, let me know. But that's how I would prepare this horse until he's really solid and he's older. I consider any horse, under 12 to me is still a baby because they react to as ones. 12 to 15, they're better, but not if they're not prepared well and not if nobody taught them all these things and how to be a good horse. Okay? Then even at 15 or 20, they could be bad and you might have to do all these things. But that's the plan. If you do it, things will go well. If you skip steps, you don't do it hard enough or well enough, and then it won't go that well. It takes your horse about 2 minutes to know who you are. If you're submissive, dominant, what your skills are, and if you're a leader or not, or have no clue at all, they know that immediately. For you to know them, it takes people usually a year. For you to really know your horse, it takes about 3 years, but you got to be working with it that whole time or you really won't know it. Once you know its quirks, every horse has its kryptonite. It might be fine with every single thing, but it hates trucks with a trailer. That's what you work on. You don't accept it, you work on it. Some horses have lots of kryptonite and they're fine with random things, like they're fine with bikes, but everything else they're spooking at, then you work at everything else. You're trying to even it out and help that horse. They can all get better, but they won't get better on their own. They have to be exposed to it over and over and have good experiences, and not bad experiences. And that's how you build trust in your horse, and that's how when random things come up that they've never seen before, if you tell them they're okay and they've had good experiences with you, they'll listen to you. They might get a little scared, but they'll listen to you and do what you want. So just remember that. All right, that's it for now.